Oh. Ugh. Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's a good one. Jeez! Yep. People are mad. But before I begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And make sure that notifications are on as well. It's been 8 years. 8 years since the original Switch came out. And I remember back then when it did first came out, there was pretty much a lot of worry right before it did. A lot of people were worried it was going to be the next Wii U. And I can kind of see why people were there, and I was there. Just from the 4.5 years we had the Wii U, it was just a really disappointing time to be a Nintendo fan, kinda an embarrassing time. That's not to say that everything that they did was terrible. No, the Wii U did have really good games. But it's just that with every step forward they did with the Wii U, they took 2 steps back. I could go and explain the Wii U like everyone else has, but you know, it would just be beating a dead horse, and I already did it before. But we already know why the Wii U was a big failure. But luckily, the Switch was a huge success, a huge one. I thought for a while it was actually going to go and beat the PS2 when it came to sales. It didn't, and I don't think it is going to at this point. It's too old, but it looked like it was going to become pretty close for a while. And so, pretty quickly, that fear that it was going to fail went away. But, it's really kind of crazy to see where the Nintendo consoles have gone in the last several years. Because, ever since the NES, they always started to go down in sales. The NES, of course, was a huge success. Then the Super Nintendo, while a success, it wasn't as successful as the NES. The N64, it wasn't as successful when it was beaten by the PlayStation. The GameCube, that wasn't definitely a successful one, coming, I think, pretty much almost in last. Dreamcast might have come in last, actually, but still. It was definitely not as successful as the PS2. The Wii, of course, was a huge one, but then you also had to add in that it was a fad. Every person and their grandma, literally their grandma, had a Wii. And that was unfortunate of it, because it was associated with the casual gamers, and that would eventually hurt the Wii U. But at least, even though the Wii U didn't do well, the Switch did. And people always kind of wondered what was going to be next. What would Nintendo do next? And they would have to ensure themselves that they weren't going to go and do another Wii U. So, would their next console be just something completely different? Something completely new, like they always sometimes like to do? Or would it be a literal successor to the Switch? There was just a lot of hype behind it. A lot of people were always wondering what's going to be next. What was the text going to be like? What were the games going to be like? What was anything going to be like? What was this thing going to be? It's been going on for the last few years. All these rumors about it. People saying, "Oh, yeah, this will definitely happen." Oh, that would definitely not happen in a million years. But we finally got all the details with the Direct this year. And we're always getting directs now, since with E3 being gone. And truth be told, I do kind of miss E3, even though its latter years weren't as fun. It's kind of funny. I remember when Nintendo stopped doing E3, I believe in 2013 or 2014, around there. But when they first stopped doing it, a lot of people thought they were really stupid for doing it. everyone was like, what are you doing? This is the biggest game show of the year. Why are you skipping out on it? And with the way the Wii U sales were, people were just like, that's even more proof that they're being stupid. But Nintendo somehow saw that E3 was dying, and now it is dead. So I guess they were right after all. But back to the Switch 2, we finally got the review of it, and people aren't happy. People are not happy. Yeah. People are pretty pissed off about this thing, and yeah, it's true. Things might change. We don't know. It's still a few months away, but yeah, this is Nintendo. They're not going to change. We're talking about a company that's where the Switch games, the original Switch games, some of them that have been out since around 2017, are still retailing for around $60. I don't see them changing anything. Not a thing. Maybe something very small, but not any of the real big things that people aren't happy about. So, I'm just going to go and explain the things I like about this console so far and the things I dislike. The things I dislike about it are a lot more, so let's try to go and enlighten this first by going and doing the things I do like. So far, the games look beautiful. The 4K, they do look really good. I love how Mario Kart looks. I like how the new Donkey Kong looks. I like how Metroid looks. They do all look beautiful. These are the games we've wanted for the last several years. When the original Wii didn't have HD on it, we were disappointed. And when the Wii U didn't have 4K, we were disappointed. And I don't think we were surprised, really, since Nintendo for years has been the console that doesn't go and try to go and do all the high-tech stuff, be the most powerful, but it's still something that we really did want. But these games do look grand. And to me, just thinking about what some of the other games are going to look like the future mainline Mario games or Zelda, I really can't go and wait for that. It should be good. Then there's game chat. I'm actually kind of divided on this. On one hand, I'm happy that Nintendo is finally allowing chat in games. This is something that they always like to try to avoid. I'm guessing probably because, you know, they want to be more family friendly, and people, especially a lot of 12-year-olds, are going to like, I have your mommy. And, you know, you expect that from people that age, but I don't think Nintendo wants to be responsible for some 6-year-old learning the F word and then having some mom complaining about it. I just don't think they want to go and have all those fingers pointed at them. So I can always understand why they didn't want to do it, but well, I am happy to see them finally start doing it. I'm also divided on it because it kind of looks a little bit laggy at times. There was just at one point where it showed that you can go and watch the other people's gameplay, and the frame rate was just so low. It was incredible, and they didn't even try to hide it. They just showed it right there. The frame rate being really low, right there on screen. Later on, who knows? And I also kind of fear that there's going to be a lot of restrictions on it, but we'll see. The game list also does look good. Like I mentioned, Metroid, it's going to look good. The Donkey Kong game, it looks like the Kirby's Air Ride. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're also getting a lot of games coming to the system, like Yakuza, and I love the Yakuza games. So, we'll probably get a lot more games along the line, but I do like the game list so far. Even though the launch lineup for when it's first released isn't really the greatest, so far it looks like Mario Kart is really going to be the only Nintendo first-party exclusive, really, but we might get some more stuff along the way. I am also happy that we are getting GameCube online. GameCube games are expensive, a lot of the first party games are, and We just don't want to have to go and pay that extra penny just to go and play some old games. So to finally have GameCube online after all these years, that would be nice. I would rather have to go and pay for the online service rather than have to go and cough up God knows how much some schmuck on eBay is going and putting out there. So that one I'm also happy about. And then of course there's also regional lockout, which is not going to be on the Switches outside of Japan. I think Nintendo learned a lesson with the old consoles, how a lot of people didn't like regional lockout. It was just pushing people away. They thought it wasn't needed anymore. It was outdated. People were correct. We didn't need that anymore. So it is good to know Nintendo is not going to have that anymore. Okay, so now it's time for the bad things. Battery life. It's only going to be around 2 to 6 hours. So, did Nintendo not learn their lesson with the Wii U when it came to battery life? Because with the Switch, it looks like they did. The Switch did have a better battery life. But with the Switch 2, it looks like we're taking a step back. And it's only going to be around 2 to 6 hours. And just, sometimes we play our games for more than 2 hours. And I just don't want to have to go and plug it in again after that just because the battery life is just so freaking low. Maybe they're updated at one point. Maybe they'll have a new model with better battery life. So, we'll see. Next are the ports. When it came to the ports from the Wii U to the Switch, I understood it. Because the Wii U was just such a failure and they wanted to go get their money back. But even with that, when they did go re-release a lot of the games, or at least a lot of the bigger games, they added something. With Super Mario 3D World, they added Bowser's Fury. So they at least did go and add new stuff. And with some of the games that they are re-releasing, it doesn't look like they're going to do that. With Breath of the Wild, they're just re-releasing the game. It doesn't look like any of the DLC is going to be on there. And chances are it's probably going to be more costly. This is probably going to be around $70 or $80, and so it's going to be probably more than the original Breath of the Wild was, which is not going to please a lot of people. If they want to play Breath of the Wild, they'll just go back to the original Switch. So there's the problem with the ports. I'm just not really too hot on that either. Then there's that the GameCube controller that they're releasing is not going to be compatible with every game. Most people agree that the GameCube controller is pretty much the best controller Nintendo has ever made. And to see that they're not going to go and have it on there is just kind of disappointing. And yeah, the Pro controller, it's fine and all, it's good, I like it, but it's just, there's something great about the GameCube controller that when it's in your hands, it feels perfect. And the fact that it's not going to be available on every single one is kind of disappointing. Then there's also the SD cards, and they're going to be expensive too. So, I remember this was actually a problem, I think, with the PlayStation Vita, when I think the memory cards were really expensive. And we're entering that problem again. If you want to go and save your game because there's too much space already on your Switch 2, you're going to have to go and cough up an expensive memory card. And I believe the ones on the Switch cost around $30 on average. I might be wrong on that, but these ones are going to be even more expensive. So on top of the things we're already going and doing, we had to go and pay for this as well. Then there's demos. So for that demo that's going to be on the Wii, the Wii U, or the Switch 2 Tour, I forgot what its name is, but you gotta pay for that. You gotta pay for a demo. Imagine if you went into a grocery store and there were free samples, but instead of being free samples, you had to pay for them. That's what this is, and this isn't even a real game. It's a manual. A manual. They are making you pay for a manual. Time for this. God. You know, as much as bad as the Switch manuals were with just how boring they looked, at least they were free. I always talked about how I missed the old days with manuals, how the little paper ones you got, but I understood why Nintendo got rid of them. For one, it was helping the environment, and two, it saved them money, because those little things did cost them money. So I understood why they got rid of them and did the manual ones that's already on the system. But to go and have to pay for a manual is absurd. And I think this is the thing that's really kind of pissed me off the most. For a lot of people, it's some of the other things, but this one, for some reason, really got me. Then there's game key cards. So this is pretty much, I think, the whole game's not going to be on the cartridge. We've seen this before with all the systems, but I just hate how Nintendo is embracing it more and more and more. I liked the days when you got the full game on the CD or the cartridge. That's what it used to be like. There might be a little DLC, yes, but it wasn't something that usually added to the game. It was, you know, some kind of new outfit or some kind of dungeon that wasn't involved with the main story. So that's what it used to be like. But now it's getting worse and worse and worse, and Nintendo seems to be embracing this, and I don't like it. I don't think it's pissing me off as much as it is with some people, but I can see why a lot of people are still angry about this. I want to count on it. The accessories are also expensive. You know, the main camera, that's going to be expensive. The Joy-Cons too, they're going to be expensive, and from what I heard, they haven't gone and fixed Joy-Con drift. The Pro Controller, that's going to be expensive. It's all going to be expensive. And they even have this little piranha plant that's also a camera. And the thing is, it's only 480p. A 480p camera. In 2025! A 480p camera! Yes, in 2005, this would have been perfectly acceptable. But in 2025, and it's $40, only $40, but still, a 480p camera. I didn't even know camera companies made those anymore. Maybe if you want to go and live stream a GameCube game and just have a more retro experience, I guess you can go and do it that way, but 480p in 2025. Leave it to Nintendo. And then last and least, the games. So games are usually going to be around $70 to $80, depending on what it is. Mario Kart, for example, is going to be $80. $80 for a Mario Kart game. And that is just insane. That is just completely bonkers. $80 for Mario Kart. And it's not like it's just completely different. Yes, it's going to be open world. It is going to be bigger, but from what we know, that's really it. It's not like there's going to be some kind of big story mode or anything like that. And who knows what other games are going to cost. From what I read, they might be more expensive. Who knows, a typical Zelda game might be $90 now. $90 for a Zelda game. That might happen. And it really adds up. Because if you're going to go and buy 2 games, that could be around $160 alone. And I do know that games have been going up recently. For a year, we've had $60 for years. So this was coming for it to go and bounce up to $70. I understand that, but all of a sudden, this quickly, we're already going to up to $80? I'm sorry, Nintendo. No. No. Nope. I'm done. I'm done. But even with all this said, it's just... Nintendo really could have gone this a better way, because I think even if they went and put the prices on there, on the Direct itself, people might have been a little less angry. And yes, the Switch 2 is also really expensive, $450. I think a lot of us were expecting it to be more around $400. Still expensive for a Nintendo console, but still, $450. Oh, I'm getting flashbacks about the 2006 Sony presentation. $599 US. So, I've been seeing a lot of people say, boycott Nintendo, boycott Nintendo. Well, I don't really see this being the next Wii U. I'm still wondering whether this is going to be as successful as the original Switch. It's probably going to do really well during the first month or so. It's probably going to be every store is going to be sold out, but who knows what it's going to be like down the line. Maybe Nintendo will listen to a few of the complaints and make some changes, or maybe they won't, and I'm leaning on that because it is Nintendo. So, I'm debating myself whether to buy this or not. I'm probably not going to buy it at launch because I'm just not a launch person. Sometimes I'll buy a game at launch, but never really a console. I usually always wait months for that. I think the closest I've ever gotten a console at launch is probably the DS. I think I got that maybe around a month or two after it came out, but I'm not sure. That was 20 years ago. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. Who knows? Maybe the Switch was my last Nintendo console. It should be interesting to see what the next few months are going to hold. But of course, what do you think? Do you agree with all the people who are complaining about this, or are you saying boycott Nintendo, boycott Nintendo, boycott Nintendo? Or are you one of the people who are just going like, dude, grow up. Just, this is the way things are now. You might as well just accept it for what it is. Just go buy the console. You know you're going to buy it at one point. Don't lie. Don't lie. Say, oh, yo, I'm not going to buy it. No, you are going to buy it. Are you one of those people who are like that? Just comment down below. And until then, hope you have a great day and hope you take care.